Earning this takes a lot of grit. Less than 3% of people who start the journey towards earning their black belt ever actually earn that honor of becoming a black belt. The road to becoming a black belt is not an easy one to travel. There are many skills that you have to learn. There are many techniques to memorize and countless hours of repetition and practice. And even then, it is not a guarantee that you'll achieve this highly sought after prize. My journey to my first degree black belt in Tae-Kwon-Do was not an easy one. I started Tae-Kwon-Do at the age of 8 years old, with the hopes of earning my black belt by the age of 10 years old. I worked tirelessly. I went to the studio at times up to 6 days a week for at least an hour each day. In addition to this, I repeatedly practiced my own techniques at home when I was on my own, using worksheets provided by my masters to help me practice. Yes, this was before YouTube was even an idea, so all I had to go off of was worksheets. Then I hit my first roadblock. My master ended up leaving the studio that I was at, and I ended up switching studios when I was only 2 belts away from being a black belt. Switching studios in the martial arts world is not a small thing. The process involves relearning almost everything that you have been taught. It meant relearning and learning new procedures and techniques that were, at the time, specific to my old studio. This process of relearning everything really set me back, and it set me back almost an entire year of training. And it did lower my morale for a short period of time. At one point, I wanted to quit. But I picked myself back up and trained even harder than before. I was more determined to reach my goal of obtaining my first degree black belt. I specifically remember that for my birthday, my 11th birthday, my parents offered me a choice of either getting the newest video game system, or I could have 2 private lessons with my new master, the headmaster of the new studio. Most kids my age would not have even thought twice about that decision and would have definitely picked the video game system. However, I was determined to get that first degree black belt, and nothing was going to stop me. To the surprise of my parents, I chose the private lessons. A short time after these lessons, I was ready. It was the test day. I had been preparing for this for a long time, and I was ready to conquer this test. It was an extremely difficult test. In preparation for the testing day, I had to write a 10-page paper on my martial arts journey thus far, and I had to take care of an egg with my master's signature on it for an entire week leading up to the test. Little did I know that those 2 things were going to be the easiest portions of the test. The start of the test consisted of 30 minutes of meditation. You were expected to sit perfectly still. You could only move 3 times. If you moved more than that, you were done. You would be asked to leave the test, and you would be given another opportunity to test 6 months later. I was determined to not have this happen to me at any point during my test. I was able to make it through the meditation with only 2 movements, and thus was able to continue with the test. We then moved on to quite possibly the hardest portion of the test. We had to complete 12 stations of exercises, completing 100 of these exercises for a total of 1,200 exercises. We would only be allowed a momentary break between these exercises. This was one part of the test that we, as participants, had never fully replicated in our training, and for a specific reason. It was meant to test our grit, our perseverance. The question was, would we push through the pain and do whatever it took in order to get the black belts that we so badly wanted? Would we embrace how much this was going to suck? Well, as you may have guessed, I did. It was extremely grueling, and probably one of the most painful experiences that I've been through in my life. After more than 30 minutes of agonizing pain, sweat, and tears, it was over. While the test itself was not over, I knew that I could complete the rest of the test, and it would take every bit of grit that I had left in me to get through the rest of the test, showing the masters that I knew my techniques, that I could participate in sparring, break boards, kick, perform my forms and techniques, all while being exhausted physically. But I knew that I could do it if I believed in myself, and reminded myself how badly I wanted this. In the end, I was able to do it, and I earned my black belt. Grit. Grit is an important life skill, even if you're not someone trying to earn their black belt. In life, you're going to have goals. Maybe you're wanting to get a job. Maybe you're wanting to go to school and get a degree. Or maybe you're in a bad situation and you're just trying to get through this day. But having grit can help you achieve these goals.